Great. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome. My name is Shamindri Lianage, and I'm a University Guidance Counselor for International Counseling and Enrollments at Lyceum Placements. It is a real pleasure to have all of you with us this evening. Today's webinar is titled Dream Beyond Borders, Explore Global Careers in Arts, Education, Psychology, and Social Sciences. Now, before we begin, I'd like to ask you a simple question. How many of you are still trying to decide what you want to study after O-levels or A-levels? Or perhaps you're a parent wondering which course will actually give my child good career opportunities in the future? If that's you, then you're in exactly the right place. Tonight isn't simply about choosing a university. It's about understanding where these careers are heading globally, what employers are looking for, and how you can position yourself for success. Before we get started, I'd love for this to be an interactive session rather than just a presentation. So if a question comes to your mind at any stage, especially based on my presentation or the information I'm sharing with you at any particular point, please don't wait until the end to ask your question. But rather than voice it during my presentation, simply type it into our chat box. We'll collect all your questions and answer all of them during our dedicated Q&A session after the presentation. On that note, let's begin. Next slide, please. Before we explore the study options themselves, I'd like to spend just a minute introducing who we are. Lyceum Placements is the specialized international education arm of the Lyceum Education Group, a name that families in Sri Lanka have trusted for over 40 years. We work directly with universities across Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Malaysia, and Vietnam. That means students receive genuine guidance based on official university partnerships, not guesswork. I actually understand what it feels like to study overseas because I experienced it myself. I completed my master's degree in English literature at the University of Sheffield in the UK. Moving to another country was exciting, but it was also challenging. Looking back today, I can honestly say that it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life because it changed not only my education, but also the way I see the world. That's exactly the opportunity we want every student to have. At Lyceum Placements, we support students from the very beginning, whether it's choosing a foundation program, selecting the right degree, applying to universities, putting together visa documents, or your pre-departure preparations. We guide students through every step. And perhaps the best part, our counseling and placement services to you are completely free of charge. Next slide, please. One of the questions we receive most often is, am I actually eligible to study overseas? The good news is there isn't just one pathway. As you can see on the screen, there are three main routes. If you have finished your O-levels or A-levels and need some additional preparation before beginning your degree, foundation programs are designed exactly for that purpose. They help students build academic confidence while adjusting to university life. If you already meet the entry requirements, you can apply directly for undergraduate programs at our partner universities. And for graduates looking to specialize or move into research, we also offer master's and PhD pathways. So whichever stage you are at in your educational journey, there is a pathway available. And our role is to help you choose the one that is right for you. Next slide, please. Now that we have looked at the different study pathways, the next question naturally becomes, where can these pathways take me? The answer is some of the world's most respected universities. As you can see, we work with leading institutions across Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Malaysia, and Vietnam, giving students access to a wide range of internationally recognized qualifications. What I'd like to highlight is something you may not immediately notice: the UCAS logo in the top left corner. Because it means that in addition to our direct UK university partnerships, we can also support applications to universities across the United Kingdom through the UCAS system. That gives students much greater flexibility when planning their higher education journey. So whether your dream is Australia, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Malaysia, or Vietnam, we are here to help you find the university that's the right fit, not just the most famous name. Next slide, please. Let's begin by looking at one of the most respected professions in the world: education. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever thought about becoming a teacher? Or perhaps your parents have suggested teaching as a career. Teaching today looks very different from what it did 10 years ago. I know, because that's how I started with Lyceum, as a teacher. But now the classroom has changed, students have changed, and also so the employers' expectations of teachers have changed as well. If you look at the graph on the right of your screen, one figure really stands out. UNESCO estimates that the world will need around 44 million additional teachers by 2030. That's not just a statistic. I see it as a global opportunity for today's students. But being a teacher today isn't simply about standing in front of a classroom. Technology has become part of everyday learning. Schools are looking for graduates who can confidently blend digital learning platforms with modern teaching tools. We've moved away from the days where students simply sat quietly taking notes. Today's classrooms encourage discussion, collaboration, critical thinking, and personalized and differentiated learning. That's why choosing the right university program matters. Increasingly, students who combine education with areas like childhood development, special education needs, or educational technology are becoming especially attractive to employers worldwide, especially in the Middle East. I know this firsthand because I experienced it. Across the Australian and New Zealand partner universities, students can choose programs in early childhood, primary, secondary, and broader education pathways. The exact structure varies by university, but our primary goal is to help students choose the program that best matches their career goals. Next slide, please. Now, this is probably the single most important point I want everyone to remember from today's webinar. Completing a teaching degree alone does not automatically allow you to teach professionally overseas. Your degree opens the door, but professional accreditation and registration opens the career. If your goal is the United Kingdom, you will need to meet the requirements for qualified teacher status, commonly known as QTS. If your goal is Australia, you will also need to satisfy the relevant teacher registration requirements, depending on the program that can include assessments such as Lantite and meeting English language standards. Some education programs may also require applicants to complete assessments such as CASPER during the admissions process. Don't worry, we guide students through each university's specific requirements. So when you're choosing your program, it's important to think beyond simply getting a degree. You need to make sure the program supports your long-term professional goals and the registration requirements of the country where you hope to work as well. Next slide, please. Let's move on to another field that has grown tremendously over the last decade, psychology. Here's something interesting. If I had asked this same question 10 years ago, maybe people would probably have thought psychology only meant working in a hospital or a counseling clinic. Today, that's no longer the case. From schools to multinational companies to elite sport teams to healthcare, understanding human behavior has become more important than ever. We hear people talking about mental health almost every day now. Organizations have realized that employee well-being matters. Schools recognize the importance of student mental health. Even professional sports teams now work with psychologists to improve performance. That's why psychology has become one of the fastest growing disciplines globally. As you can see on the screen, psychology isn't one single career. Broadly speaking, there are three major directions students can explore. If you enjoy working with people in business, corporate psychology could be an excellent fit. Organizations increasingly employ psychologists to improve leadership, teamwork, recruitment, and employee well-being. Mental health services. If your passion is helping individuals overcome emotional or mental health challenges, this pathway may be right for you. It eventually leads towards careers in counseling, clinical psychology, and therapeutic practice, although additional professional training is always required. And for students who enjoy research and asking, why do people behave the way they do? Behavioral science opens doors into research, public policy, user experience, education, and many other exciting fields. Here's a recommendation I often give students interested in education as a teacher and lecturer myself. Consider combining education with psychology. Think about it. A teacher who understands child development, behavior, motivation, and learning styles brings enormous value into today's classroom. Across our Australian and New Zealand partner universities, students can study psychology through different faculties depending on the institution. Some offer a Bachelor of Arts, others a Bachelor of Science, while some integrate psychology into health sciences or interdisciplinary programs. The important thing isn't memorizing the university names, it's choosing the pathway that matches your long-term career goals. Now, here's one of the questions students ask me most often. Should I study a BA or a BSc in psychology? The answer depends entirely on where you see yourself in the future. A Bachelor of Arts usually focuses more on understanding people, society, communication, and behavior. A Bachelor of Science places greater emphasis on biology, neuroscience, research methods, and statistics. Another question I hear all the time is, what is the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist? The simplest way to remember this or to explain it is that a psychiatrist is a medical doctor who can prescribe medication. A psychologist supports people primarily through psychological assessment and therapy. Both professions play incredibly important roles, but they follow very different educational pathways. Just as we discussed in education, accreditation matters here as well. Choosing an accredited program is extremely important because it's the first step towards professional registration later in your career. At Lyceum Placements, we guide students towards programs recognized by the relevant professional authorities in their intended country. And here's another attractive option. You don't necessarily have to travel all the way to Australia or Europe to earn an internationally recognized psychology degree. Through our partners in Malaysia and Vietnam, students can study high-quality programs much closer to home, often at a significantly lower overall cost. So if you are fascinated by people, curious about behavior, and passionate about making a positive difference in someone's life, psychology offers an incredibly rewarding career path. The important thing is choosing the right program from the very beginning. Next slide, please. So far, we've spoken about professions that focus on educating people and understanding people. Now let's explore careers that focus on shaping societies and expressing ideas. This is where social sciences and the creative arts come in. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever watched the news and wondered why societies behave the way they do, so differently? Or perhaps you've always enjoyed debating current affairs, politics, or international issues? Social sciences is really about understanding people, communities, and the world around us. Whether it's sociology, international relations, youth work, social policy, or anthropology, these subjects help us understand how societies function and how we can improve them. But perhaps your passion isn't analyzing the world. Perhaps it's creating something that changes the way people see the world. Creative careers have changed enormously over the last decade. Today, designers influence global brands, musicians perform for international audiences, writers publish worldwide, digital artists create content seen by millions every single day. So, if someone has ever told you that creative arts is just a hobby, I'd encourage you to think again. Creativity has become one of the world's most valuable professional skills. Across our partner universities in Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and Malaysia, students can choose from a wide variety of programs in social sciences and creative arts, such as design, fine arts, creative writing, drama, international relations, and many other exciting disciplines. Institutions such as Monash University, one of Australia's leading universities, offer outstanding opportunities across the social sciences. RMIT is particularly well known for creative programs, including fine arts, design, and creative writing. Our Malaysian partners also offer internationally recognized qualifications in areas such as English, creative writing, politics, international relations, and communication. So whether your dream is of influencing public policy, designing tomorrow's innovations, writing stories, creating art, or helping communities grow, these are careers that genuinely make an impact. And we'd love to help you find the right university to begin that journey. Next slide, please. One of the questions families ask us most often is, which country is the best? And my answer is always the same. There isn't one best country. There is only the country that is best for you. If you're looking for shorter qualifications and faster routes into employment, the United Kingdom is an excellent option. One-year master degrees are particularly attractive because they reduce both study time and overall living costs. Australia and New Zealand are especially attractive for students who value practical learning. Many programs include industry placements, internships, or professional experience, allowing students to graduate with real-world experience as well as their qualification. For many families, affordability is an important consideration. Malaysia and Vietnam offer internationally recognized qualifications at significantly lower tuition and living costs, making overseas education more accessible without compromising on quality. One thing we always discuss openly with students is employment after graduation. Every country has different post-study work regulations and professional licensing requirements. That's why personalized counseling is so important. Rather than making a decision based solely on rankings, we encourage students to choose a destination that supports their long-term career plans. That's exactly why every student we counsel receives personalized guidance, because the right country isn't always the most popular one. It's the one that best supports your future goals. Next slide, please. Now that we have explored the different career areas and destinations, let's make this a little more practical. One of the questions students often ask is, what do I actually need to get into these programs? And the answer is that requirements vary by university and country. So it's always important to check the latest requirements. For education pathways, students will generally need to have completed O-levels or A-levels, meet the required academic grades, and demonstrate English proficiency through tests such as IELTS or PTE where required. Depending on the university program, there may also be a personal statement, interview, relevant experience, and assessment such as Casper test. And importantly, for Australia, students may need to complete LANTITE as part of the pathway towards teacher registration, while students planning to teach in the UK need to meet requirements for QTS. For creative arts, the academic requirements are similar in terms of completing O-levels or A-levels and meeting English language requirements. But there is one major difference. Your portfolio matters. For many creative arts programs, a strong portfolio or collection of your work is mandatory. Your portfolio should demonstrate originality and creativity, technical skills, your process and development, and the range and depth of your work. Depending on the program, students may also need a statement of purpose or artist statement, and some universities may require an interview or audition. And this isn't only relevant to education and creative arts. As you can see on the screen, different programs such as psychology and social sciences have their own specific requirements as well. So the key message is simple. Don't choose the program first and check the requirements later. Choose the right program with the requirements in mind from the beginning. Our counselors are here to help you understand those requirements and choose the pathway that is right for you. Next slide, please. We've covered a lot of information today. Different countries, different universities, different career pathways, and you might be thinking, where do I even begin? That's exactly where Lyceum Placements come in. Our first goal is to help students make informed decisions. Every student has different academic strengths, different career aspirations, and different financial considerations. That's why we begin with personalized counseling and profile evaluations. From there, we help you choose suitable universities, prepare your application, organize your documents, and guide you throughout the entire admission process. In other words, you don't have to navigate the process alone. We also help students identify scholarships and merit-based grants wherever they are available. While every scholarship has its own eligibility criteria, our role is making sure students don't miss opportunities they may qualify for. So instead of spending hours trying to understand university websites, visa requirements, and application deadlines, you can focus on preparing for your future while we help guide you through the process. And our support doesn't stop at the application stage. Whether you're planning your studies from Sri Lanka, Qatar, or elsewhere in the Middle East, our teams work together to provide continuous support throughout the journey. Next slide, please. If you liked our personalized guidance after today's webinar, we'd be delighted to arrange a one-to-one counseling session with you. You'll find all our contact details displayed on your screen now, whether you contact our Sri Lanka offices or our Qatar office. Our counseling services are completely free of charge. So whenever you're ready to take the next step, we are here to help. Next slide, please. Before we conclude, I'd like to leave you with one final invitation. If today's webinar has piqued your interest or helped answer some of your important questions and has managed to put you at ease about studying abroad, then I'd love to invite you to our upcoming International University Fair on Thursday, 20th of August at Amari, Colombo from 3 to 9 p.m. This is where everything we've discussed today comes to life. You will have the opportunity to meet university representatives in person, speak directly with our counselors, explore different study options, and receive personalized guidance based on your own goals. I'd like to leave you with this thought. Every successful international student was once sitting exactly where many of you are sitting today, wondering where to begin. The difference wasn't that they had all the answers. The difference was that they took the first step. Whether you're a student planning your future or a parent supporting your child's dreams, we'd be honored to be part of that journey. We've covered a lot of information this evening, and I'm sure many of you have questions. And now I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to ask anything, whether it's about university entry requirements, career pathways, scholarships, or choosing the right destination. If you're wondering about it, chances are someone else is wondering about the same thing. So go ahead. Now you can voice your questions. No questions? I'm checking the chat as well. I don't see any questions, so I'm guessing we are good for the evening. Great. So no questions. That means the presentation's been really, really on point, I guess. Great. So let's wrap up for the evening. Thank you for joining us, and good night. Bye-bye.